Good evening, I'm Jack Fujii and welcome to the 10th session of Agriculture 194E, Focus on Agriculture. For those of you joining us for the first time, Focus on Agriculture is a one-credit course offered by your College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Natural Resource Management here at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And we come to you live every Thursday evening from the television studios located in the Mookini Library here on the UH Hilo campus. We also come to you by way of the Hawaii Interactive Television System and your local educational channel. And I believe that's channel 55. And for your information, this class is rebroadcasted on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on Sundays on the very same channel. Before I go on, if I could have the Elmo, please. If there are any of you that have to get a hold of me, there are several ways that you can. One is by regular mail at 200 West Kauili Street, Hilo, Hawaii, 96720-4091. Or you can get a hold of me by phone at 933-0850. Or 933-0850, or by fax at 974-7674. And I think the best way to get a hold of me is by email. My email address is jfujii@hawaii.edu. Since we are coming to you live at approximately 8 p.m., those of you in the viewing audience, and of course those of you here in the classroom, can call in and ask questions. So we hope that you'll jot your question down and give us a call at approximately 8 p.m. this evening. We have another very interesting presentation for you. Tonight my guests are Sonia Martinez. Sonia is the former food columnist for the Tribune Herald. She used to write the article, "Come Join the Feast." And she used to write the article for 3 years, and then I guess, Sonia, you retired from that, and she may do it again, I don't know. And joining Sonia, we have Anthony Mathis. Anthony is Sonia's son, and he will be helping Sonia out this evening. So why don't we get started with the cooking, Sonia, and let's let the folks know what you're going to prepare.
Thank you, Jack. Welcome, and thank you for having me again. Tonight we're going to be doing dessert first. We're starting with a tropical fruit trifle, and it's very simple to do. All you have to do is you can follow the guidelines that I'm giving you tonight, but you can kind of use any fruit that you want or have on hand. The instant Jello pudding mix, I like to use the vanilla with the fruit because it doesn't interfere, but bananas and chocolate are wonderful too.
Is that the instant type or the cooking type?
This is the instant.
Okay.
And it calls for 1 package. Well, actually this recipe is 2 packages, but it sets up so fast that I like to do 1 package at a time.
Okay.
And each package calls for 2 cups of milk, and it sets up really fast. But can you bring me the dish and the cake?
So Sonia, how did you come up with this recipe?
Trifles are a standard recipe, classic recipe. Started mainly in England, and they use a custard base. It's easier to do with pudding, but you can also make a creme anglaise, which is an egg custard.
Sonia, could we move that over to the side so that the camera can see what you're doing?
Okay, and it consists of either cake or lady fingers. I'm using an angel food cake, and this one is lemon flavor to continue the tropical
Is this one the
theme.
regular purchased cake, or did you bake this cake?
No, this one you can purchase. Frankly, I have made it, and I have made it from scratch, from box mix, and bought it. And the bought has less calories, less sugar, less fat, so
More healthy.
it's healthier.
Okay.
So I just go with that, and it's easier. And if you're having company, it's so much nicer to not spend all day in the kitchen cooking. So the recipes that are easy to do are wonderful for something like this when you have company, and yet the presentation is so pretty.
Okay, so this is
You put some of the cake in the bottom,
angel food cake.
angel food cake, or you can use lady fingers.
Okay. So you line it in that. Now that's a fancy container, or what do you call that?
Compote
giant
dish.
martini?
Giant martini glass. This is much better than a martini, though. Okay, we'll put the milk in. Can you be doing that? This is a mango preserve. And when mangoes are not in season, you can buy a 5-pound bag of mangoes, which you can use after you thaw it. You can use it as is, or you can, the way I like to do it for the trifle is just put the frozen mango and sugar in your pot, about this size pot, and turn it on low and let it cook. And it turns like this by itself, which is
About how many parts sugar to how many parts mango?
actually
Cup to a cup?
about usually like you would marmalade, which is a cup to a cup. If the fruit is too sweet, though, it's better not to
Put as much sugar.
put as much sugar.
I see.
But don't dump it all in, just kind of sprinkle it around.
Do you want a spoon?
No, this is okay.
So Sonia, you used to have a restaurant, and then you had an accident there, and it kind of burned down. But then you had some trouble restarting. So now, what are you doing? Are you doing some catering and things like that?
I do catering, I do cooking classes. I still write, even though I'm not the weekly writer anymore for the paper. I'm a freelance writer for several other
And
magazine and newspaper and so on.
email the best way to get a hold of you?
Email is the quickest.
Okay, and Sonia's email address is cubanwahine, that's one word, cubanwahine at hawaii.rr.com. cubanwahine at hawaii.rr.com. That's Roadrunner. Now what?
I'm adding some star fruit slices. I'm adding some mango, uncooked mango,
Okay.
along with the preserves. Some kiwi.
Kiwi fruit. Okay.
And since it will show, I like to put them around the edges so it can show the pretty colors. Let's see.
And then just pour the
Just
vanilla
pour.
ice cream right on top of that,
The pudding,
or the pudding.
yeah. And you can do
And you say you
other
can use
layers.
chocolate if you wanted, any.
Chocolate and banana are really, really good. In fact, we can put some bananas in here.
We'll just chop up a fresh banana.
The combination of fruit depends on your taste. You can do any fruit. Strawberries are wonderful, and this time of the year we have the Waimea strawberries, which are really nice and big and sweet.
The sprinkle them around the top.
Just all over. And let's see, what do we have here? Oh, some rambutan.
Oh, chopped up rambutan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to put some more.
Yeah, that is really a tropical fruit trifle. And really easy to make, actually.
Very, very. And if you use skim milk, it'll have less calories and less fat than what this one will have. 2 cups.
And another package of vanilla pudding.
It's amazing how much you can fit in this cup. Then we'll put some more fruit and some more cake.
Just kind of layer it, huh?
Just layer it. And no particular design, just whatever you have on hand. The juices are great too because that kind of soaks into the cake. And the color combination can be, today's St. Patrick's, so we have some green. That's why we wore our green aprons too.
I forgot to wear my green today.
Huh?
Don't pinch me.
Some more star fruit.
Oh yeah.
They're quite not in season right now, but there's still a few available at the farmer's market. That one doesn't look too pretty. And you can, the reason I make it before anything else is because it should be refrigerated so it can set, but of course today it won't be. But you can make it the morning of your dinner party, or if you're taking it to a potluck or anything like that, just make it ahead of time and make it in, put it in the refrigerator until ready.
So the pudding just kind of solidifies and holds everything together.
Everything.
And
Some more of the mango preserves. Something else you can do with the preserves, and it's really good, is the tiny little Hawaiian chili peppers. Chop a few in with the mango preserves and serve that with cream cheese.
That'll be kind of spicy then, little sweet, spicy.
I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't use it in the dessert, but you can use it as maybe hors d'oeuvres or something like that. All right.
Boy, that giant brandy
Martini glass.
martini glass is overflowing.
I like to buy unusual serving pieces.
Yeah, makes a nice conversation piece as well. Wow, I didn't think you'd be able to get all of that on there, but it looks like we're gonna...
I've done it before. Uh-oh. Well,
A little more star fruit and...
yeah, I had to cut the star fruit earlier today, so it's already looking a little bit funny, but They'll taste good.
Oh, that looks nice.
There you are. It didn't go down enough into the cake, but it worked. Anthony, can you get me something to wipe it with the water?
Here.
We've got paper napkins too. Oh well.
And where did you get that giant martini glass from?
Wally Will. A couple of years ago. There you go. Okay. You better take it and put it on the table.
On that front table. Okay. Wow, that looks good. And maybe our overhead camera can kind of zoom into our tropical fruit trifle. And something very easy to make.
Very. And the variety depends on what you have on hand or what's available.
And then once it solidifies, all you do is just kind of get a scoop and scoop it out into your dessert plate. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And tropical fruit trifle. And the second dish is going to be your
Scallop lau lau.
scallop lau lau with julienne veggies and shiitake mushrooms.
And the mushrooms are some of the island-grown mushrooms, the hamakua mushrooms.
Okay, so this is kind of a takeoff on our regular pork and chicken luau, but we're going to use scallops and vegetables, huh?
Scallops and vegetables.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen the fresh ones. Usually we find them in the store, they're dry, but the fresh ones are so pretty and they feel good when you work with them. I like to chop the vegetables very small because you're steaming them, and it won't take us long to cook. We have some already prepared, but I'll make 2 or 3 here so you can see.
Okay.
Take your tea leaves and do a 3-way cross,
Okay.
and you bundle some carrots. This is for the salsa. And some zucchini.
Carrots, zucchinis, okay.
Scallops. And the scallops, you can use the tiny ones, you can use the great big ones. I just use whatever's available. You know, most recipes call, a lot of the Asian recipes call for both garlic and ginger, already minced or chopped or whatever. To save time and trouble, I usually go ahead and do a whole head of garlic and a whole big chunk of ginger. And I grate them and mix them together because the recipe is going to call for ginger and garlic, so I already have them ready. Whenever you need them, it's in the refrigerator. Just put the combination of ginger and garlic, half and half. Some shiitake mushrooms already chopped. And this is, the recipe calls for either creme fraiche or mayonnaise. Creme fraiche It's very expensive to buy it in the store, but it's so easy to do. You use a pint of, or a half pint, a cup of sour cream and a cup of whipping cream. Mix them together really well. Cover it. Leave it on your counter overnight, 24 hours. And the next day, it'll be nice and thick. And it has a slight little tartness to it, which is really good to use with fruit. It's wonderful with bread puddings, as is, or you can use it as the base for a sauce like I did here. The sauce has dill and some soy sauce mixed in it, and you can, I usually use a teaspoon of each, but that's to your own taste. If you like it with more soy sauce, you can put more. If you like it with more dill, like I did here, I have more dill than what the recipe calls for. Just, you know, recipes are guidelines. They're not prescriptions, so just play with them. Unless you're baking, and then you can make a big mess if you don't follow it direct, you know, exactly. But we want to make these little pouches instead of the traditional little wrap. We're bundling these.
And since it's scallops, then you don't have to steam it that long.
No, 18 to 20 minutes at the most. Here's one. And
Do you want to cut it?
yes,
I'm
you
gonna
can
cut
trim the ends a little bit.
In the top of
The steamer is not deep enough, so you have to kind of crush them down a little bit. They don't look as pretty, but it will work, and anyway, it's what's inside that counts. Oops.
And you're using is that bamboo type of steamer?
Or you can use the metal one if that's what you have or prefer. I like the bamboo steamer.
Can you substitute scallops?
Yeah, you can use fish, you can use chicken, you can use whatever.
Shrimp.
Shrimp. But the scallops, for some reason, I just love the flavor with a combination of julienne vegetables and the mushrooms and the sauce. Close it tight. Here's the other thing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I was going to say Anthony's helping me tonight, but he's a much better cook than I am. He's more innovative at cook than I am.
And Sonia, you've got a cookbook, don't you?
I have a cookbook out, which is the result of 3 years worth of monthly columns for the Hamakua Times of Honoka'a. And it's called Tropical Taste.
Tropical Taste, and they can get it by going to your website, or is it at the bookstore? Or?
It's at several places downtown.
Okay.
You can get it at basically Books or the Book Gallery, the Most Irresistible Shop, the Health Food Store, Abundant Life. Just go around and ask for Sonia's cookbook.
Tropical, was it Tropical?
Tropical Taste.
Okay.
And they're going to be jammed in there today, but I wanted to make sure that we had enough for everybody to get a taste. And since they don't fit exactly in there, what I'm going to do is turn the second part down downwards, and it won't be completely closed, but it will steam.
Just let that steam away, and by the time the class is over, it should be done.
It will. I like to use spray water with Clorox when I go from one dish to another to make sure that there's no cross-contamination of food. And it's convenient to have one around the kitchen all the time anyway.
What kind of mixture of water to Clorox would you use?
About 3 to 1.
3 to 1? Okay.
All right. And then we're going to do
The
tropical
next
salsa.
dish is going to be a tropical salsa. Okay. Tropical salsa. So how long have you been cooking, Sonia? How long have you been cooking?
Since I was about 14 years old. And quite a few catastrophes.
I didn't hear what you said.
So what's the first ingredient?
Okay, here we have papaya. And we have pineapple.
As much as you want or as little as you want?
As much or as little as you want.
Okay.
Red bell peppers. And cilantro.
Chinese parsley or cilantro.
And I don't use as much cilantro as some people. I just like enough to have the little flavoring without being overpowering, because sometimes cilantro, when it's a little bit over the first flush, it can get pretty overpowering.
So it's all up to your taste, how you like
All to your taste. I give guidelines, and then you can do whatever. A little bit of brown sugar.
So where do you hold your classes?
I have been doing some classes at the Palms Cliff B&B in Honolulu. I do, we've been doing something that's a lot of fun lately. It's called house parties. And it's almost like a Tupperware party, but instead of selling Tupperware, I go with all my equipment, the food, the recipes, copies of recipes for everybody.
Do you have that listed on your website when you?
I don't have a website.
Or I see you only have the email.
The email.
Okay.
But they can contact me, and there's about 5 menus to choose from. And depending on the size of the kitchen of the host or hostess as to how many people they can invite. And it's a party.
So do you actually go to a person's home and do the teaching right there?
They do the teaching right there. We have a few door prizes, which are some kitchen gadgets and things like that, or one of my cookbooks. And everybody gets to work a little bit and do something, and then we all sit down to eat, and it's a party.
Wow. Kind of like tonight's Focus and Ag. You're teaching us how to cook here, and we're going to enjoy it afterwards.
I'm going to have to apologize. In the rush, the thing I forgot was bring some vinegar. Balsamic vinegar, which I like to use, but what I will do instead is, this is a vinegar that I made using Suriname cherries. They grow in my yard. There's 2 bushes, and I make jam or marmalade. I make vinegar, and I make syrup with it.
High in vitamin C, I hear. Ceram.
High in vitamin C. And the taste is so different. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Now, is
You
that,
can make the same vinegar with cranberries. And what you do is you take a bag of cranberries, or I had about 3 times this amount of Suriname cherries. You wash them, put them in the saucepan with sugar and vinegar, or you can just make the syrup first, just the sugar and the fruit. And when you have the syrup, you can mix syrup with the vinegar, cook it again to cook the vinegar down, and you have your vinegar. So out of one batch of fruit, I got syrup and vinegar.
so what is the proportion of Suriname cherry to sugar?
About the same as you would equal portions,
Okay.
1 cup per cup.
Then you let that cook down, and then you add the vinegar. Any special kind of vinegar, or
Distilled vinegar, whether apple cider or white vinegar, it doesn't matter. It's just distilled vinegar. Anthony, can you bring me the pineapple tray, please? I need to cut some little chili peppers.
oh boy, those are real Hawaiian chili peppers.
Oops,
Oh, sorry.
I need to cut the chilies.
There's enough room.
Put it in.
So this is kind of a slightly spicy salsa.
Slightly spicy. You can make it spicier.
For those who really like it hot.
And of course, you know, everybody knows about using gloves when you're chopping and cleaning the peppers. And don't ever put your hands in your eyes or your face at all. If you've been chopping without gloves on. And the voice of experience is speaking, so.
So what you do, you take the seeds out of the Hawaiian chili pepper.
I like to take the seeds. The hotness is in the seeds and in the veins. And that's enough hotness. You know, some people prefer hotter. And if y'all prefer hotter, I'll make it even hotter than this. But, or you can add some to your own when you get to taste it.
Would you say that the Hawaiian chili pepper is just as hot as the Scotch bonnet?
When it
think
comes
it's
to hotness, the habanero is supposed to be the hottest of all.
Is it? Oh, okay.
And the Scotch bonnet is a type of habanero. And there's a new pepper that has been developed lately, an habanero that is called chocolate habanero. It's brown. And a friend from Oregon sent me some seeds to plant, so I'm hoping that I will get some chocolate habanero soon. And he says that they're hotter than anything he has ever tasted
Wow.
before.
Chocolate habanero.
Chocolate habanero, they're brown. That's why they're called chocolate. It doesn't mean that they taste like chocolate.
So you're putting in about, what, 2 chili peppers?
I put 3.
3, okay.
And the pineapple is hollow, and we will use the pineapple as the presentation. And the way, there's a real neat little gadget that comes apart to store, and you use it like so. You cut the top of the pineapple, you put it on top, and you start turning. And as you turn, it starts slicing, and the heart will be in the center, the core will be in the center of this, and you go down as far as you can without going all the way through. And when you take it out, you go counterclockwise, and your pineapple is already sliced, all you do is just chop it up and use the container.
Where can you pick that up?
Any store that carries kitchen supplies should have them. I tried to call the one downtown today to see if they had them in case anybody wanted, but I wasn't able to speak to anyone. But check with the store downtown, check at the department store in the kitchen department.
And what do you call it?
It's a pineapple core slicer.
Okay.
But you can also find it in places like Amazon on the internet in their kitchen department, and Williams Sonoma or any of the people known for kitchen gadgets.
I guess you can just go on the computer and go to google.com and type
just
in
put pineapple core slicer and see what happens.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a firm believer in Google.
Just fill your core up.
And here again, the fruit you use can be whatever you have on hand. You can use oranges, you can use apples, you can use bananas in there. I just had papaya and the pineapple.
And then how do you eat this? So what do you eat
This
it
is served with the lau lau.
with? I see.
It adds a sweetness and piquancy to the lau lau. When the lau laus are ready, we just put them around and serve.
Okay.
Dip it with a coconut spoon.
Okay, and for those of you who just joined us, you're watching the Agriculture 194E, Focus on Agriculture. And this evening, my guests are Sonia Martinez and Anthony Mathis. And they're preparing all kinds of nice tropical dishes for us. The first dish that she prepared was a tropical fruit trifle. And then we went on with a scallop lau lau with julienne veggies and shiitake mushroom. And then Sonia just prepared the tropical fruit salsa in a pineapple bowl. And we're going to do a cream of wadaby soup now, huh?
Okay. The poor warabi has been through the mill, but you know what they look like. The Hilo Farmers Market, just buy a bunch of them. Cut it or snap it at the place of least resistance, and take most of the bigger pieces of the frond, leave the little ones, and then just chop it, blanch it for about 2 minutes. The color will turn greener, and you take onions and saute 1 medium onion and saute it till translucent, and 1 bundle of the warabi already blanched and cut. Saute that, and then you add chicken stock, and usually for the big bundle I use the large can of chicken broth, and I buy the fat-free.
Okay.
So this is 49.5 ounce chicken stock, and it's an odd thing. This is a recipe I came up with, and when I first started playing with it, I found that the warabi is quite viscous when you cook it, and it wants to draw, it wants to separate from whatever other liquids there are, and especially when you add a cold liquid and the warabi is hot, it looks like, oh, what did I do? And I've learned that after you mix some of the soup and blend it in the Cuisinart, or a food processor of any kind, or a blender, you want to puree the wadaby. But you need the broth to do it with, otherwise you won't be able to. Then go ahead and heat it up again. And you add cream. The seasonings are salt and pepper, if you wish. Most of to me, the broth already is seasoned enough, and normally I don't add any more. But by the time you add the cream to it, it might make it a little bit too mild, so you can add salt and pepper if you wish.
Okay.
And we'll let that heat up a little bit. Then we will add our whipping cream to it.
Okay.
Turn these on. It will take just a few minutes for the soup to heat up.
On my stove, it may take a few more minutes, but it'll heat up.
It will heat up. Okay. We won't hold our breath.
Okay.
And let's see, what are we doing now?
So
We're doing the green salad. Anthony's preparing the tray.
okay, this is a it's a
We
grilled
should have
Japanese
included
eggplant
these.
salad with hamakua greens and chives. What
Chef,
what is that?
goat cheese.
Oh, okay.
Big Island goat cheese.
Okay.
And you can find it in the Hilo Farmers Market, the local goat cheese.
Grilled
there's-
Japanese eggplant salad with hamakua greens and goat cheese.
Right. And what we do is I buy the small, tender eggplants. And if they're thin enough, you cut them just in half. Pull the little skirt it has up here up and slice. If it's thick like this one, you can slice it in 3. You take olive oil. You can take oregano, a touch of cumin, salt, and red pepper flakes if you wish. Or, to make it easier, you can take Italian salad dressing and marinate them. They can marinate overnight.
That's before you cook the eggplant?
Yeah,
Okay.
marinate it overnight. Then for tonight, we're going to cook them on the electric grill, but at home you can do it on your outdoor hibachi or grill, gas grill or whatever.
Okay.
The goat cheese will go on the salad, and you season it.
And that is basil?
We will do a chiffonade of greens, and chiffonade means ribbons, to cut into ribbons. And you just wad up your greens and cut them into thin, thin, thin ribbons.
And what kind of green is that?
These are Thai basil.
Okay, Thai basil.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Let me
you
have a bowl to mix.
a bed of different kinds of lettuce.
Different
all
kinds of
colored.
lettuces. You can also use spinach, a combination of spinach and lettuce. The grill is ready. Don't turn it off.
No, I didn't.
Okay. We will add some seasonings.
Okay.
Here's some more pepper flakes. Fresh ground pepper. And I like the multicolor pepper mix. I think it gives it a little bit of a different touch. And a touch of salt.
Okay.
And there again, this is Hawaiian sea salt.
You're using George's grill here.
Big George.
Boy, there's all kinds of uses for his grill, huh?
You can do chicken, you can do fish. By the way, Anthony came up with an idea of marinating chicken in guava juice with garlic. Marinate the chicken pieces in it overnight in the refrigerator and then grill. And it is really good.
Has a good smell coming out now.
Since they're so young and tender, it shouldn't take very long for these to cook.
Okay, so our marinated eggplants are in the grill now. And you're making the goat cheese sauce for the salad.
Let's do a little bit more seasonings.
So how often do you come up with these recipes?
It depends. Sometimes we come up with some and then we forget what we did. If I don't write them right away. I belong to several internet cooking groups, so that has helped me a lot because I will tell my friends, today we did so and so, and then it's already there in the forum so I can remember then and write it up as a formal recipe. Half the time it's not even a recipe.
So there's groups like that you can get together with other people from
All over.
all over the
All
world.
over. I have cooking friends from Lebanon, Kuwait, England,
Wow.
Israel, all over the United States, South America.
So how do you get on this website to get together with all of these? Is it
You
a
can-
chat group or something?
Yeah, you can go to the Yahoo groups
Uh-huh.
and search for cooking groups.
Ah.
And then you'll see they will be listed under different categories, different countries, or whatever you're interested in. And there's one group that I belong to that is a cookbookers group, and everybody collects cookbooks.
Oh, I better get on that group and put my Focus and Ag cookbook on.
That would be great,
group.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get that website. How's it look, Anthony?
Looking good.
Let them cook a while.
Might mention that Anthony's a graduate of Hilo with a minor in agriculture and a major in psychology, was it?
Right.
Yeah.
He talks to
Graduated
plants.
with honors also.
Yeah, he graduated with double honors. Okay, what are we missing? Oh, the macadamia nuts.
Macadamia nuts, okay.
I buy macadamia nuts in bulk. And I go ahead and chop them all up in the food processor. And then you can put them on a cookie sheet or a jelly roll pan and toast them in the oven. Then freeze them. Or you can freeze them whole, or you can freeze them chopped but raw. Depends on what you're going to use it for. If you're going to be baking, raw is fine. If you're going to be using it like we are in the salad, I prefer them already toasted. And then it's there for whenever you need it. And they are found at a Kona place that is a macadamia nut factory, and macadamia nut and candy factory. They sell what they call their off-grade because they're chipped. But I'm going to chop them up anyway, so chip doesn't matter. And they are a little bit less expensive buying them in bulk. You have to go there and pick them up. They will not ship, the bulk ones.
And when you say bulk, how many pounds?
3 pounds per bag.
I see, okay.
Okay, the soup's coming along. Let's add. Now this is going to be funny. If you can see in there, the warabi is going to just draw up the minute we put the
Maybe we can get our overhead camera.
whole
to our
cream.
Cream of wadabi soup. Are some of these the recipes in your cookbook, Sonia?
This one is for certain, and I believe that the salsa is also in it. The other recipes will be in my next cookbook, which is in the works right now.
Wow, how many do you have? Cookbooks.
Well, just this one right now, but I'm working on 3 others.
Okay.
I'm working on one based on several of the columns from the Hilo paper that I wrote. And I'm also working on a series of small booklets that are like Christmas cookies, one little booklet, and one on salads, one on how to use your freezer to better advantage, how to make quantity and divide and freeze, and I have a list of about 23 booklets I can come up with.
Your mango cookbook.
Oh, and the mango cookbook that I have been working on.
Oh.
Everything in it is mango. The lore, the history, the myths, recipes, all kinds of stuff on just mango.
So do you share some of these things in your classes that you hold at different people's homes?
Most of the recipes in my columns and in the cookbook are things that I have used in my cooking classes.
I see.
Okay. And how are we coming along over here?
All right.
Careful.
Is it on as high as it will go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's doing okay.
It's going to have to take a little while longer than the normal 18 to 20 minutes, but normally 18 to 20 minutes will do it. It would help if the steamer was larger.
Yeah. Completely enclosed. Huh? I guess those big aluminum steamers would be something good.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting one of those. I was thinking that that might be the next thing. Okay. You have any questions in the meantime while we wait for a few things?
Any questions? No? Okay. Well, why don't you tell us something about your classes? What you teach in your classes when you, or do you do it on request? Like if I say, oh, I wanted to do some baking kind of thing, you would do
A class in baking.
And then if I wanted a salad kind of thing, you'd do a salad thing.
Correct. We also do one on pupus.
Fish.
And one on just fish for some. There's an ahi, grilled ahi with papaya basil sauce that is really good. And that's a class that gets quite a few requests.
And how long do these class sessions last about?
About 3 hours, counting eating time. We always fix enough for the classes because my classes are never, I like hands-on. I like people to be able to come and
then you
help prepare.
You tell the homeowner what ingredients to get and things
No,
like
I get them all.
Oh, that's all included.
That's all included. They pay me a basic price depending
I
on
see.
the recipes or the menus that they choose. And I show up with all the groceries and whatever equipment I need that she might not have, she, and the door prices.
Anywhere on the island, or?
If it's close by, it's a basic price. If I have to go further than 50 miles, then of course I add mileage.
I see. And how much advance notice do we have to give you if we want to have one of these classes?
I prefer at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay.
Okay, this is about ready.
Okay, our eggplants.
Let me get the tongs.
In the grill are almost ready.
Do you want me to go ahead and put them on the salad?
Yeah.
So Anthony, do you do a lot of cooking?
Yes, I do, because I like to eat. And I enjoy growing as well as cooking, and cooking what I grow, of course.
And that's why you took a ag minor.
My ag, sure, that comes in handy. And it's always good to have a fresh herb garden. And fruit trees. I don't think we take
all that in your yard, so you know how it was grown, right?
Right, and what's been added to it or what hasn't been added to it.
Because when you buy it in the supermarket, you really don't know what pesticides they sprayed on it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and I have a bit of a problem buying squash from Arizona or bell peppers from Holland that we get here in the grocery stores. I don't like my food to have more frequent flyer miles than I do.
Is that it?
2 more.
And then you just kind of top the bed of greens with the eggplant.
And then you put dollops of the cheese.
Is it preferable that you use goat cheese than other types of cheese?
I just love goat cheese. And you can also get goat cheese that's already been flavored. They have like basil or garlic and different kind of flavored goat cheese. At one time there was a goat cheese farm also in Honoka'a, or actually Alualoa, that was making feta out of goat cheese, and that was also excellent. And the people that have the goat cheese farming Alualoa now say that they're working on doing varieties of cheese.
Is this cheese like a feta cheese?
No, it's very creamy, it's very soft, it's very mild tasting with a tiny little sharp, I wouldn't say quite a bite, but it's different.
And
But
what do you call this cheese?
chèvre, C-H-E-V-R-E,
Okay.
is the French word for.
So it's more like a spread type cheese that you would kind of spread on bread or something like that.
And it's from the Big Island.
Ah,
There are 2 farms now on the Big Island, one located in the Puna area and one up in Honoka'a. And one of the things that I have always tried to do with my columns or with the cookbooks is to promote what we have here on the island. If I can't find it growing here on the island, it's when I buy them from someplace else. But I prefer to promote all of our little farms, because eventually we're not going to have farms. And food's going to be coming from all over the world to Hawaii by barge. And we have beautiful land here that can grow just about anything.
Then you top it with the basil.
Top it with the basil.
And this is the grilled Japanese eggplant salad with hamakua greens and chev,
And chef.
which is that special goat cheese which you can get at your local supermarket.
And the farmer's market. This one with, oh, I forgot to, can you
Macadamia.
sprinkle some
Magnets.
macadamia?
Okay. And sprinkle a little macadamia nuts over the salad.
Now we're,
I turned it down just a little bit.
yeah.
Soup looks pretty good. Okay.
It's such a delicate green color. At first I thought that I had caramelized the onions a little bit too much and that the soup was going to be sort of a beigey green, but it turned out nice and green. We put a little bit of paprika, and we also will grate some lemon zest
Okay.
on the soup.
So that goes just right on top of the soup? Okay. With a lemon zest and paprika.
Paprika.
Gives it a little color also.
This is going to be our soup tureen tonight.
And that's going to be kind of hot there, huh?
Is it ready to pour?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it.
Well, I wonder if Mr. Campbell will, after watching this program, make a Wadaby, cream of Wadaby soup. We've got
Yeah.
just about everything else, but
That's right. Well, the first time that I ever made the soup, I wanted to go through the whole experience, and a local friend took me to her favorite place to harvest the warabi. And it was a lot of fun. But then I discovered that at the farmer's market, you get a big bundle for a couple of dollars, and you don't have to get
much
muddy
easier
up to
than
your
going out
waist.
there and picking Wadaby and getting all those mosquito bites, huh?
Right. For the classes, we'll still go out and pick because it makes it, a lot of the people that take my cooking classes would be people visiting the island, and to make the experience a little bit different for them,
So how much zest do you put in there?
just
Up to you.
up to you.
Okay.
And this is a microplane, which is a great grater.
And again, you can buy that at a place where they sell cooking utensils.
Cooking utensils and gadgets. It works for things like this. To me, it works better than a regular grater.
So I guess in your cooking classes, you kind of show the tricks of the trade, huh?
Yes, I do. And then just a little bit of paprika for some color. Voila.
And there we have the cream of
No, I
Wadaby
don't think
soup.
so.
And do you think that the lau is going to be done, or?
They should be done.
Got a special tray there for the Wadaby, or the
For this lau, yes.
I guess it's scallops, so scallops actually, you can't overcook scallops, right?
No. Not really. The carrots is what I was mostly concerned with.
Oh,
But by cutting them small the way I do, they don't take as long. And even if they have a little bite to them, they're fine. Just put them on the tray.
I'm gonna cut one.
So you're going to open one up so we can see what.
Can you see?
Let's see if we can get our overhead camera to zoom. Hold on, we're getting that overhead camera to zoom in on it. Hold it still, Sonia. There we go. Wow, yeah, that looks good. And then you kind of serve it open on, or serve it closed, and then.
Serve it closed, normally one per person. But obviously we couldn't do that tonight, so just have everyone can just take a little bit of everything.
Okay, and that's all the
That's a
dishes that
wrap.
we're going to prepare tonight. Okay, we're going to go to question and answers, and one of my students brought me a little gift because of our phone calls, you know, and if I could have the Elmo, maybe we can just kind of put this down. Let me zoom back on it. You know, we're getting all kinds of phone calls, so my friend, one of my students bought me a box of chocolates from Bubba Gum, because you never know what you're going to get. And what we're going to do tonight, folks, we're going to do it a little different. You can give us a call, and you're going to talk straight to me. And we're going to take this call. I'm going to hear it over my earphone. Go ahead. What is your question? Hello? Do you have a question? Yes. Okay. What is your question? Yes. Oh, that was the person who called wanted to know something about the last dish, which was the salad, was the eggplant salad, and wanted to know if they used zucchinis or bananas or what. They used eggplants. So, eggplants, yes.
But you could use zucchini.
Okay, well, thank you for calling, and we'll take the next phone call. It's going to be a little quiet here tonight, but I'll try to repeat the question. Do we have another caller? We have another caller, so I'm going to listen to the call, and why don't we go ahead? And your question. Or where are you calling from? Okay, the caller is from Honolulu, and your question? Uh-huh. Okay, Sonia, the question is, since you use all these different kinds of serving dishes, how important do you think the serving dish is when you make a presentation?
Very important.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think that food should appeal to all of the senses, not just taste. And the first thing that attracts you to food is the presentation, the look of it, the smell. Even if something smells really good, but it's just thrown together on a tray or a dish, I don't think that it appeals as much to the eye. So the first thing that you notice when you see food is the visual appeal and the taste, of course, and just, I love dishes. I like to buy an array of different kinds of dishes. I love table linens, and if you play with linens and dishes and so on, you come up with combinations. Some of them I use, if I use a particular dish and I like that presentation, I will use it over and over and over, the same presentation. Other times I just play around and present it in different ways. The trifle is one of them. I have two trifle dishes. One is this one, and one has the straight-sided classic English trifle dish in the glass. I play around with those two. But certain things I just like served in a certain way. And to me, the green soup in the white bowl with the flowers and the green leaf just brings out the color of the green of the soup.
Does that answer the question from Honomu? Okay. Okay, the question, Sonia, is have these different serving dishes or plates inspired you to create new recipes?
Yes, in a way. I have a set of little white ovenware type bowls with a little handle that I thought would be beautiful with the cream of red bell pepper soup. And every time I make red bell pepper soup, I make them in there. And by the way, I love cream soups. I prefer a cream soup to a broth. So most of my recipes will be cream soups when I do one. But the red bell pepper, yeah, was inspired by a white bowl.
Does that answer the question, or any other questions?
Or shells, or
Oh, shells too.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks you very much, Sonia, for an
Thank
excellent
you.
presentation. Well, thank you for calling from Honomu, and I think we have another caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from, and go ahead with the question, please. Okay, the call is from Hilo, and your question. Okay. Okay, the question is, he didn't watch the program from the very beginning. The gentleman would like to know, what do you have inside your lau lau?
Julienne of carrots and zucchini, shiitake mushrooms, fresh, scallops, a sauce made with the creme fraiche, which is a combination of equal parts sour cream and whipping cream left overnight so it can sort of set. And I added soy sauce to it, and also added some fresh dill, and you steam them. Oh, it also has a combination of garlic and ginger grated, mixed together.
Does that answer the question from Hilo? Okay. We stopped making the Focus and Ag cookbooks, but we've got the older cookbooks. This is the second semester that we haven't prepared a cookbook, but all the recipes, I'll have them all typed out, and if you'd like a copy of the recipes, you can send me a self-addressed envelope that's stamped, and then I will mail it to you, or if you're on the email, just email me, and then I will attach it to the email, and you can just download it and print it out. What you can do is, if I could have the Elmo again, you can write to me or email me, and I'll send you all the information on the cookbook. So if you email me, I can email you the order form. Okay? Thank you for calling from Hilo, and I think we have another caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from, and go ahead with the question, please. Do we have another caller? Yes. No, it was the Wadaby was it was a soup, a cream soup, a Wadaby cream soup. The question was, what did? Oh, yeah, the lau lau was a scallop lau lau with julienne carrots and julienne. I think it was zucchinis and shiitake mushroom and a special sauce that went on top of that, and a mixture of ginger and garlic, grated ginger and garlic that went on there. Okay, well, thank you for calling, and the caller wanted to thank you, Sonia, for doing an excellent job, and he appreciates our new method of taking phone calls. So we're going to have a moment of silence there for a while I hear the question, but we'll go on to the next caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from, and go ahead with the question, please. Okay, from Kona, and your question? Okay, the question is, which goat farm is the cheese from? Sonia, do you know what goat farm?
This one is the one from Puna.
Is there a particular,
Puna goat
although
cheese
we don't
company.
endorse any particular brand, Sonia, do you have the label for that particular brand of goat cheese? Maybe if you can bring it over here, I can put it on the Elmo. We're kind of, here, why don't we bring it here, and then I'll put it on the Elmo. And okay, for the caller, if I could have the Elmo, can you see that? It's Puna goat cheese, Lava Rock's Chev. You got it? Okay, and you have another question? Okay, thank you for calling, and I think we have another caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from, and go ahead with the question, please. Okay, the call is from Pahoa, and your question. Okay, the question for Sonia is, what do you think the next trend in food will be, Sonia? Based on your past experience.
I think by what I have read and seen, a lot of the food that restaurant chefs are being inspired by is locally grown foods. There's many chefs. I don't know if all of you are familiar with the movement that started here in Hawaii about 13, 14 years ago, where some of the local chefs weren't able to find some products grown locally, so they started talking to farmers and telling them, this is what I need, can you grow it for me? So the food is now beginning to, that system is beginning to spread all over the mainland also. And a lot of the food suppliers, the farmers and the distributors, are opening kitchens, testing kitchens and cooking school kitchens in their offices and factories and so on. So to teach the chefs how to use these new products that they're growing. So I think that you're going to see a bigger surge of locally grown produce being offered not only in restaurants, but as you know, we have a magnificent farmers market in Hilo, and we have a lot of nice farms on this island that are growing incredible things.
Does that answer the question from Pahoa? Okay, the question is there a place where we can go to find out where these farmers are located that are producing the produce that are sold at the farmer's market. I guess the best thing to do is to go to the farmer's market and kind of ask the individuals and ask them where they get their goods from. But I don't know if there is an actual place where you can find out where the farms are located.
RCND?
Okay. You might call the State Department of Agriculture, or you might call the Cooperative Extension Service. They might have some idea of where some of these farms are located. The Cooperative Extension Service. Okay, well, thank you for calling from Pahoa. And I think we have another caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from and go ahead with the question, please? Okay, the call is from Oahu, and the question? Okay. Okay, again, the caller from Oahu got the program a little bit late, and she saw the lau-laus go in the steamer, but she didn't know exactly what was in there. So maybe once again, real quick, like Sonia, can you kind of go over the ingredients again as to what went inside your scallop lau-lau?
Julienne carrots and zucchini, and I like to do the carrots fairly thin so they can steam faster. Then there is scallops. You can use chicken or fish or any other kind of meat you prefer. I like the flavor of scallops with this combination. Then so fresh shiitake mushrooms and a combination of equal parts minced garlic and ginger. And then a sauce made with creme fraiche, which is equal parts of sour cream and whipping cream mixed well, put on the counter, covered overnight so it can set. And I add soy sauce and fresh dill to the mix, and just kind of pour that on top, close your bundles, and steam them.
Okay, does that answer the question from Oahu? Thank you for calling. That's the traditional, yes. So we're doing a little takeoff on that, and she says that she normally uses the pork and the chicken that we normally use in the lau-laus, but this time we're just doing a little different takeoff on the lau-lau. Okay, well, thank you for calling from Oahu, and I think we have another caller. Could you let us know where you're calling from and go ahead with the question, please? Yes. Okay, the question is on the cream of Wadaby soup, and the caller would like to know, how do you prepare the Wadaby for the soup? So Sonia, can you elaborate on what you did with the Wadaby in making your cream of Wadaby soup?
You wash your Wadaby like you normally would, take off the tough part in the bottom, cut it at the place of where it makes resistance and snaps. Chop it and blanch it for just a couple of minutes. It brings out the green color, and it also kills some of the little fuss crystals that are on it. Saute some onions and the Wadaby in a saucepan until they're soft, the onions translucent. Then put them in a food processor with some chicken broth or beef if you prefer, and process the wadaby till smooth. You will notice that the wadaby will draw up. It has a tendency, it's so viscous that it has a tendency to draw up. But just use the processor and smooth it out. Keep adding some liquid. Once you heat it in the pot, put it in your pot with the rest of the broth. Bring it to a boil. It will smoothen out completely, and then you can add cream. I like to add whipping cream because it makes it so much smoother. So it just depends. In my recipe, I mentioned quantities and amounts, but you can play with the recipe and come up with the best combination that you prefer.
Does that answer the question? She used the fat-free chicken broth. Okay, well, thank you for calling. And again, the caller wants to thank you, Sonia, for doing an excellent job preparing the dishes tonight.
Thank you for watching.
We have another caller, so could you let us know where you're calling from and go ahead with the question, please. Yes. Okay, the caller wants to know the ingredients for the grilled Japanese eggplants and hamakua greens with the goat cheese. What I can do is I'll put it on the Elmo, and I hope the people at home will not get a lot of static, because sometimes when we put the Elmo on, I got complaints that there was a lot of static on the TV set. But anyway, here is the ingredients for the grilled Japanese eggplant salad with the goat cheese. And also, if you'd like these recipes, I'll have them all typed up, although they're all typed up now, but I'll type them up, and then if you would like them, just email me, and I will send it to you as an attachment to the email. Okay, I think, does that answer the question? Okay, go ahead. She does. The question is, the son is calling for the mom, and the mom wants to know if she does catering. So, Sonia, do you do catering?
Yes, we do.
And the best way to get a hold of you is by
email
Cuban Wahine, that's one word, Cuban Wahine at hawaii.rr.com. Does that answer the question? Okay, you have another question? Okay, well, thank you for calling. Do we have another caller? Okay, we have a caller, just a sec, we have a caller from Oahu, and go ahead. Repeat the question again? Oh, the question is what the eggplants. Now, you just use the smaller, younger eggplants that are tender.
The very tender eggplant. You can cut them in half if they're very small, thin, or if it's something about this size, you can cut it in 3 slices, chop the top, and then we marinate it in a mixture of olive oil and seasonings, or you can use just Italian.
Sonia, I'm going to have to cut you off. We've run out of time. I want to thank both of you, Sonia and Anthony, for joining us this evening. And we hope that you'll join us 2 Thursdays from now, because next Thursday we'll have spring break, and we